I don't want anyone to at me for this pink sports bra underneath this white t-shirt. Mind your business. Anyway, so happy Monday. I just got done training, which I feel like I say that on every single one of my vlogs. Gotta change up the content. Anyway, so I just wanted to come on and say hello, even though I said hello yesterday. With my waffle, my post-workout waffle. My cheeks are still really red. Really good training session tonight. A little bit shorter, which was nice. How many minutes? Only 40 minutes. Usually between 50 and 60 are my sessions. So 40 is actually nice. It's like a little bit of a deload, which is awesome. Because sometimes you need a little bit of a break, especially when you are really into suffering like I am. Anyway, I feel like my camera's tipped on. Well, not really. It's not a camera. It's my phone. Anyway, we're just going to go with it. We're not professional. We don't care. So, work was good today. It's really busy. I have one of those jobs where I am everything to all people. And there literally are days where I am just like, I just want to shut my laptop and just leave. And today was one of those days. I just have so much to do. And generally I'm very organized. I block schedule, and whatnot, but like, I just didn't even know where I wanted to start with anything I was working on today. So that was my day, which is okay. I delegated some stuff, which, just kind of, at least for now, gets it off my plate. It'll probably circle back around, but at least for now it's off my plate. So I'm happy about that. I had a meeting scheduled for like late next week that got moved to the following week, which is nice because I actually have to put together the deck for that meeting. It's just our quarterly business review. So I got to start working on that this week. I'm going to block off some time tomorrow, I think, and probably just bang that thing out. Otherwise, very typical day. Update on my dad. He still has not been transferred to his rehab facility. The place that was supposed to have a bed open up this weekend doesn't sound like that bed opened, which is okay. I know like everything is just so messed up because of COVID and like everyone has to quarantine and stuff like that for 2 weeks, like once they get to a rehab facility or nursing home, and then they can go like into like general population or whatever. But so I talked to my dad's social worker today. I did call my dad at like 1:30. And he did not answer. So he may have been sleeping, but he also may have been, with PT or something that time of day too, like after lunch. So I'll try him again tomorrow just to see how he's doing. But his social worker has been really great and just keeping me updated on what's going on. So he did not get transferred today. As far as I know, I think someone would have called me. And I talked to her this afternoon. Usually they do that kind of stuff in the morning, but they are also revisiting one of the places that they thought he might be able to go to, but then they ended up having like a COVID thing where the spot that they were thinking was maybe going to be for my dad ended up going to someone else, which again is totally fine. But they want him to like reevaluate him or they call it rescreening. They're going to rescreen him just to see, do they have the capacity to take him? Because obviously with my dad's diagnosis, things could change very quickly. And although he's been really good, God bless, for like the last 2 weeks, that could change at any time. And so this is like the window of opportunity to like get him discharged, to get him going on PT and hope that he just stays stable. And then in a month, we can kind of reevaluate the situation. So they're rescreening him for that place. And then a third place was also contacted today. Another place that would be perfectly fine for my dad. And we'll see maybe if he can go there. So, but other than that, he's been doing really good. The nurses over the weekend said he had a really, really good weekend. He's just really frustrated about still being in the hospital. But he knows that he knows in the moment that the social worker, when she tells him, like, hey, I'm still working on it. Like COVID's kind of messing everything up, and then because my dad is in a hospital right now in another state from the state that he lives in, you kind of get that weird like crossover between the Medicare and then the like Medicaid and like medical assistance. So you have like, like, Wisconsin Medicare, Medicaid, whatever, and Minnesota, and like, and they don't pay for each other's crap, and there's like this reimbursement. It's just a mess. And plus, my dad is a veteran, so we have a VA involved, and so there's like all the things. And I did ask about one of the VA facilities that's like an hour maybe from where he lives, up the North Shore of Lake Superior. But they don't do short-term rehab there, and that's one of the VA facilities up there. They do long-term though, and so I'd asked him, is that an option? And just for now in this circumstance, it's not. They don't do short-term. So, but that's okay. Anyway, so hopefully tomorrow I get an update, and then on Wednesday, hopefully I can share with you that my dad is in rehab, and then my plan will be he'll have to quarantine for 2 weeks, right? So then hopefully in 2 weeks, and I'll go up north, and I will go see him and be at my mom's for, I don't know, 5 days or so. So we'll see. Anyway, training went really good. Tonight was, again, a little bit shorter, a little bit more deloady. There was a Tabata workout though. I hate Tabata workouts. 20 seconds 8 times is a really long time, says the girl who does CrossFit. But it was thrusters, which I have showed you guys before, and then Turkish get-ups, which are like kind of like a fancy sit-up. I can post what those are right here, so in case you ever want to give them a try. And then just some hex pressing with dumbbells. So the first, it was 3 Tabatas, so which is only a total of 11 minutes and 50 seconds total. The first one was the thrusters. So your heart rate gets up super high. Like, oh my God. It's like, it's pukey by the time you're done. And then from there, it was the Turkish get-ups and then the hex press. And so that was my last part of my workout. But it felt really good. And it felt good to move, even though my legs are tired from yesterday, and on Saturday too, right? So my legs are they're a little swole, as the kids would say. So just some inflammation, which is normal. It's just the fluid, the blood flow into your legs after you do a lot of squats. So anyway, or deadlifts, or biking, all the things. Anyway, so I am sure those of you who follow are girls, and I say that like I know them, but so Chantel, Foodie Beauty, came out, did a live stream, yesterday, from her car, which I thought was very interesting. And the Chantel historians will know this, is that I believe there was a time where she used to mukbang in her car or eat in her car. And there is nothing wrong with that. Like, I travel for work. I eat in my car all the time. And I'm not shaming her for, like eating in her car or mukbanging in her car. Like, hey, girl, if you want to mukbang, I've said this before, that is your business, okay? And, and I understand why people find that to be problematic because of, her health issues, and and then we'll talk about that too. Her health issues, right? And so people associate her consumption of food that most of us, would look at, right? And would see, be like, hey girl, maybe you shouldn't be eating that, and not because of her. It's not because I don't say that because of her weight. I say that because she's got some really serious health things that she's talked about, like C. diff and now this vasculitis thing and, all this stuff. And so I have no issue with her eating in her car. That's not it. I'm not judging. I don't care. Literally do not care about this woman. Do not care. What she does does not impact my life at all. It actually provides some really good entertainment, and it also makes me really glad that I went into the psychology, like into, that field, right? Into psychology, because like, it's absolutely fascinating to me. And that's why I went into psych, because why I've always found those degrees very interesting is because like human behavior fascinates me. Like, there we go. I said it. Okay. So it's kind of like a train wreck watching thing, right? But I see it like, and if you watch like Young Dumb Honey Bun, and Tiffany, I forget her name. She's like a linguistics person. Tiffany, it's like Tiffany Sherry or Cheryl something, but she's really good too. But she looks at it from like a scientific place. And I think young dumb honey bun, her name is Sarah, she is also coming at it from more of a psychology background as well. And so like when I look at that kind of stuff, I I literally watch like Amberlynn and Chantel or watch reactions to their content more specifically. And I just apply theory to it. Like I'll be like, oh, that's this theory. You know, I learned about that in undergrad, and here's this, and this is totally Freudian, or that's totally whatever, and that's Carl Jung, and like, you know, all the things, right? So that's kind of what I do because I'm a nerd. There you go. So anyway, not shaming her. Don't care if she eats in her car. Don't care if she mukbangs. Right. Anyway, she was in her car, and she had gone live, and I was watching. I think I was watching DC Media Girl, or was I watching? I think so. I think it was DC Media Girl when she went live. And everyone is like, why is she in her car? Well, this is a thing that she used to do. She used to like binge in her car or mukbang in her car. I'm not sure which of those it is, you know, if she was binging and filming or if she was, I don't know which one it is. Because those are, I will agree with her on this. Those are two different things. Like her mukbangs, if you look at hers versus like Nick Ocado, totally different, right? Totally different. And so anyway, everyone's like, she's literally sitting on the side of the road, like we're in a parking lot or something, although it did appear she's on the side of the road somewhere in Canada, which by the way has a curfew that she was in violation of, you know, at that time, and could have resulted in like a $5,000 fine, like Canadian dollars. And I was like, girl, get home, you know, like don't, you know, and I'm guessing she probably would have said something like, oh, I'm working, right? You know, cause she was filming and she was on a live stream. You know, and I don't know where she lives, right? So if there's like a lot of police presence or not, like I live in a major metropolitan area, right? You know, for the Midwest, it's like there's just a lot that goes on here. So there's a lot of police presence around where I live. And so I could never have gotten away with that. Like, but anyway, and you know, like DC Media Girl was like, why in the hell is she in her fucking car? You know, and I'm verbatim. I don't remember if she said the F word. I don't think she did, but like, you know, I'm like, that's where I'm pretty sure she used to mukbang in her car, you know, and they had like her dietitian or her therapist or something told her to stop doing that. And so everyone's like, oh yeah, she probably just binged, you know, in her car and is just waiting to go home. And she had like a Starbucks drink or something. And I don't know if any of that's true and I don't care. Anyway, so she starts talking about Eugenia Cooney. Okay, my girl, EC, right? And she's talking about how they should not deplatform Eugenia Cooney. And I understand, I think, where she was trying to go with it. Like, number one is she sees herself and Eugenia as the same thing. She sees them, this is my perspective. Okay, again, let me put the disclaimer on. This is just my opinion, okay? This is just my observation. I'm not speaking in fact. I'm not anyone's therapist. Like, I don't care about your feelings, okay? I do want to know why you hate your job, but I don't care about your feelings. Okay, fair? Okay, so she sees them, her and Eugenia, you know, as the same thing. They're just at different ends of the spectrum, you know, but she sees her binge eating disorder, although she did say something, I think it was in this live stream, about how she does not feel now that she's a food addict because, or something, I might be misquoting her, so don't come at me, but that she feels that she's in more control over her food than she thought she was, you know, which is, I think, something she's working on with her dietitian or therapist or whatever, which, hey, more power to you, honey. Like, if you have figured that out, like, that's a big thing, right? And so she's talking about her and Eugenia and the whole ED thing, and about how, you know, Eugenia, you should not be deplatformed, which I 100% agree with. And you can disagree with that if you want to, but here's why. And I will say this a million times, is that it is not against the law to kill yourself. And it is not against the law to do so on camera. And no one knows, right, kind of what's going on behind the scenes, you know, although, like, it's obvious to most people, right, that Eugenia Cooney is obviously suffering from some kind of, you know, ED or, you know, mental health concerns or whatever. And obviously on Chantel, who is very different than Eugenia, where, like, Eugenia doesn't really talk about it. She just does it a little bit more subtly, right? You know, well, she'll sit on camera, like, really far away from the camera, and she'll sit there for 7 or 8 hours and go live on Twitch, right? You know, and kind of like body check or show her body, you know, whatever. And there's this whole like underground, right, of this like anorexia, right? Okay. And like, that's a real thing, you know, and there are people who, and I'm not kink shaming, Like that's, the same with Foodie Beauty and a lot of these other girls. Like, there are rumors that they are, being paid by feeders to produce certain content, right? And again, that's, if they want to do that, that's their business, right? And if you don't like it, don't watch it. Like that's always going to be my argument. So Chantel, kind of spent some time talking about, they shouldn't deplatform her, whatever, because of her ED. And I agree with that. And so, but there's more to the Eugenia Cooney story, right, than just the ED. Like there is concerns about certain nefarious people in her streams that she has made moderators that, now have access to very young girls, who look up to her to come into her streams, to talk to her, whether that's on YouTube or Twitch or whatever. So there's kind of that angle there too, but they focus on, her wellness, right? Like her, obviously, like she's got some problems, right? Okay. And so Chantel is going on kind of on and on about how like they're just doing this because she's very skinny, and like it's no different than, Chantel being very heavy, and wanting to like prevent them from existing, and having their disorder be broadcast over the internet. And, paraphrasing, of course, right? And I see, like, I can get behind that. Like, again, like it isn't anybody's business if Chantel or Amberlynn or whoever wants to sit on camera and stuff their face. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think they should be doing. It doesn't matter what you think they should be eating. It doesn't matter, right? Like this is about money. It's about money. And I will say this every single time, even about Eugenia, is that they're so, like, she's addicted to her ED, right? Chantel is addicted to her ED. Amberlynn is addicted to it. Jen is addicted. Like, all these girls are addicted. Hungry Fat Chick, they're addicted to it. And their addiction, right, has granted them income that most people can only imagine, right? Because again, if they're not lying, like Amberlynn Reed is making $10,000 a month just by posting pictures of her like putting on makeup and eating a pizza every once in a while. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm not saying I would do it, but if some creepoid was like, hey, I'll pay you $10,000 a month, it would have to probably be more than one creepoid. And I shouldn't say that because, hey, everyone's under their own thing. But like, whatever, I'll pay you 10 G's a month. Sign me up. That's twice what I make in my regular job. So you can see why that would be tempting. And that's what I think it is with Eugenia. And people want her off the internet, right? Because they think it's going to force her into treatment. I don't think so. I don't think that happens at all, actually. And I just think that, like, she doesn't want, she's not ready for all that, right? But back to Chantel. So she's comparing herself, right, to what happens to Eugenia. I see the correlation, right? But I also think that she's talking about this and being very sweet about the whole thing because she, I think, feels that her channel could potentially be in jeopardy. And so she's trying to like get on the whole, let's not deplatform Eugenia Cooney to earn points, right, with whoever, and so she's trying to make her the same as Eugenia. So when they say they won't deplatform Eugenia, that they then can't deplatform her, right? Does that make sense? Right? Because if you put yourself in the same bucket of, well, she has an eating disorder and that's why you want to deplatform her. Well, I have an eating disorder, so you can't deplatform me either, right? Makes sense? You guys picking up what I'm putting down? So that's what I kind of think she might be doing. I think that's what she's doing. And the second thing is she did not go to the ER. She decided to, after all of that, make an appointment with her general physician, and she has that appointment, I think, this week or next week. What did I fucking tell you? What did I fucking tell you? We could have just done that to begin with. And she's like, well, and then if they say to go to the ER, then I will. Girl, you're a mess. You're a mess. But anyway, so that's kind of been what's going on with the little reaction world that I follow. This is one thing that I actually would agree with Chantel, is I do not feel that anyone should be deplatformed. I do believe in free speech, which is not hate speech. So those are two different things, especially in this country. If you're an American, you'll understand the difference. I also agree at the same time that just because you can say something or do something doesn't mean you should. I think that you have to Like, you have to really think about those actions before you take them, especially if your life is on the internet. And also, people forget that, like, Eugenia Cooney is not a child. Chantel is not a child. Chantel is almost 40. Eugenia is almost 30. They both know exactly what they're doing. Like, Eugenia Cooney knows exactly what she's doing. And she makes a ton of money doing it. Like, just keep that in mind. You know, when it's this whole, why won't she get better? First of all, she's addicted to it. She's addicted to not only her ED, but she's addicted to her money. Why would she cut herself off from that? Did you see she's learning how to drive? I hope that she's enjoying that, to be honest to God, because she'll have a little bit more independence. Like, that's what she needs, right? So anyway, those are my thoughts on that. I don't even know if those were thoughts. I was just kind of rambling. I don't always know how to, like, organize my thoughts on some of these girls, right? Because there's just so much to unpack, you know, and, like, then you have to go to the, like, Chantel has been sweet as pie, though, lately. If you guys have been following her, I don't follow her directly. I just pick up her stuff in the reaction channels. And sweet as pie. And that's because she lost her shit in, like, 4 live streams a day for a week and a half. You know, and I understand why. Like, she was mad. Like, people were coming after her for doing something to Jen and, you know, whatever. But she was, like, over the top with some of the language, you know, and now she's doing damage control. That's just my perception. Is that it's a little damagey. Like, oh, we fucked up. We gotta do some damage control. But anyway, so that's that. Not much else going on. It's still cold here. It's 10 degrees. I have no idea what the wind chill is, but it's probably below 0. I think this is over on Thursday. I'm pretty sure. And then we'll start to warm up again. And then February is always such a short month. Obviously. But just those, you know, 1 or 2 less days, depending on the year, it flies by. And then it'll be springtime, which is awesome because I cannot wait to move the gym back out to the garage and train outside. I'm hoping to be out there fully by April. If we happen to have, I know that fucking groundhog saw a shadow or some bullshit, you know. So I'm hoping that maybe by mid-March, maybe if we happen to warm up, if we can get a couple of random days where it's a bit warmer, especially at night, that would really help in terms of getting out there a little bit earlier. So otherwise, let me tell you, there's nothing more painful than picking up a cold metal barbell. Nothing. Maybe kidney stones. That might be more painful. I've had those too. Not fun. And gallstones. That was also painful. But the metal barbell, right on up there, top 3. It's so freaking cold. It hurts so bad when you touch it. Oh my God. I can't even think about it. Ugh. Anyway, so yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to springtime. We have very mild winters in the part of the state that I'm in. Because we have the giant lake that keeps us a little bit warmer. And this year, Lake Michigan is a bit warmer than average. And so that's why we haven't had like a ridiculous bullshit winter. But yeah, anyway, that's all I have for you guys. Thanks again for watching. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you have a fantastic week. I will see you here for Weigh-In Wednesday. And then I'll keep you guys updated on how my dad's doing, you know, one day at a time. I'll see you guys soon. All right. Good night. Bye-bye.